not a whole lot of time left, because if we continue to do what we're doing, we're going to have a financial crisis, because you can't continue to spend too much, because there's a limit on how much you can tax, and we're taxed to the hilt. And then there's a limit on how much borrowing we can do, and we're borrowing to the hilt. We're dependent on China and Saudi Arabia and all these countries because we are the greatest debtor in the whole world today. This is different than the 1970s when we had to pay for guns and butter. Today we're paying for guns and butter again. But today our good jobs are overseas. We owe $2.7 trillion. The whole country is in debt. And what do now when we need more government? We print more money. What is the bailout package all about? Our side of the aisle proposes it, and the Democrats want to increase it. $150 billion? No, that's up it to $200 billion. Where does it come from? The government has no money. Well, can we tax people? No, can't tax anymore. What are they going to do? They're going to print the money, devalue the dollar, and that's the problem we have. The dollar's low, prices are high, the people are suffering, the middle class is shrinking, so we offer the same old pablum, the same old baloney. And then we turn around and we say, well, why don't we ask the Federal Reserve to create more money? Nobody seems to have enough money. If we just had more money, maybe it would prop up the stock market. So we go to the Federal Reserve and they badger the Federal Reserve and the markets say, we need more money. So they crank it out. They lower interest rates. You can't lower interest rates unless you print more money. So they lower interest rates dramatically, like never before. The stock market goes up 200 points. An hour later, they realize it didn't do any good, and the stock market drops 200 points. So we're in a bind, we're in a fix, and I'll tell you what, where we overspend. Everywhere. We spend too much everywhere. I have, since the very first time I ran for Congress in the 1970s, expressed a great deal of concern about the monetary issue, something that has been ignored. This is the first time in over 100 years that monetary policy has been discussed in a presidential campaign. On the universities, where I get large crowds, we get large number of young people coming out interested in the money issue. We had over 4,000 show up the other night at the University of Minnesota. The issue of money is one of the most interesting subjects for these young people, because when I talk about the monetizing of debt, the printing of money, the endless devaluation of our currency and how important it is, it gets one of the loudest applauses because young people understand that money is a very important issue. They understand that the Constitution is explicit. The Constitution says no emitting bills of credit, no paper money, only gold and silver can be legal tender. And today we allow big government to grow, whether it's on the conservative side or the liberal side. If they want something, they usually have a compromise, spend it on both, and then they resort to printing money. And that is where our trouble's coming from, and that is the crisis we're facing. All great nations and great empires, and for fiscal, financial reasons. That's how the Soviet system was defeated. We didn't have to invade them, we didn't have to fight them. Their system collapsed. And that is what's happening today. The middle class is getting wiped out. The middle class is getting poorer endlessly because they can't keep up with the cost of living. And the solution isn't printing more money and spending more money and allowing the Federal Reserve to pretend they can solve the problem. The answer is found in fiscal conservatism. Live within our means is what we have to do.